Hey, good evening. My name's Chris Gunn, and once again, this is my channel, Chris Gunn's Bourbon Barrel Creations. So it's Friday night, President's Day weekend, and so relaxing in my bourbon room. It's been a pretty good day. Started working on a set of half barrel cabinets for a friend of mine. He runs a organization that it's a charity organization that gives back to veteran organizations, and he does a lot of barrel picks here in the Columbus, Georgia area. And so he gave me a barrel. It's a Nashville barrel, one of his barrel picks, and so that's what I've been doing this afternoon. I've been working on that. But tonight I'm going to talk about something. This is slightly bourbon related. But it kind of delves into another one of my hobbies, and that's knives and knife collecting. So several years ago, around 2003, I was in Iraq for Operation Iraqi Freedom, and I got a call. I got to call home one night, and at the time, we had to. The only way we could call home was we had to rent a satellite phone from a local national, and he would charge us by the. I think it was charge us by the 15-minute periods or something. But we would go up on top of the compound we were in, and we'd call home, and we get to talk to our families. And so I called home, and I was just checking on my wife, see how she was doing, and my newborn daughter. And my wife told me, she goes, "You're not going to believe who uh, who called." And so I was like, um, "I have no idea who called." She goes, "Well, Ernest Emerson called the house," and I was kind of like, "You're talking about Ernest Emerson, who owns Emerson Knives?" And she goes, "Yeah." And so the gist of the conversation was he had a guy that worked for him at the time, Derek Russell. Really, just super super nice guy. Derek was just he looked a lot like Tank Abbott to me, but he was just a big teddy bear. And Derek was just probably one of the nicest people I'd ever met in my life. And so I had had some dealings with Emerson Knives, but they'd primarily been through Derek. But the Blade Magazine does a show in Atlanta every year, and they had wanted some veterans to give the awards that year. They want to do it like a veterans appreciation ceremony. They do a big every year. They do like a big dinner. They give out awards for like the best knife of the year and best design and some other stuff. And that particular year, they wanted military members to give the awards away just so they could show their appreciation for the military. And so Ernie had gotten my name from Derek, and he contacted Teresa and asked Teresa if it looked like, if I could come down to Atlanta and do this. Now, um, I had no inclination that I was going to be able to come home, but my wife was pregnant when I had called her, and was checking on my daughter, and she said, "Well, you know, the doctors feel like you need to come home for this pregnancy." And so I got the approval, and I got a little bit of leave to come home, and so off I came for my daughter's for birth. And I was extremely thankful that I got to come home for that, because a lot of people at that time didn't. It was not a foregone conclusion. If you had a child being born, you were going to get to come home for the birth of your child. But there was some complications, and my chain of command, taking care of me, let me come home. And so we came home, and our child was born, and I was getting ready to leave, and Teresa came to me one day and she says, "Hey, that Blade show's this weekend?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Let's go. I think it'd be good for you to go down there." And so off we went. And I got to tell you, it started a friendship that I could have never, uh, I could have never, foreseen the friendship that would develop between not only me and Ernie, but what we call the extended Emerson family. It's Ernie and his just as talented wife, that takes care of everything. And then their beautiful children, and then Ernie's got a son now that is building knives that are of extremely high quality. I can't even believe it. But just to get to know Ernie and his family was just has been one of the greatest things. One of my greatest joys in life. I got a friend that says all the time, it's better to have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. When he talks about friendships, and I've been fortunate that I've known the same two guys since '85 when we went to high school together, and the relationship that you can build over that extended period of time, the memories you can build, they're just you can't put a price tag on them. But Ernie and his family, I just love them to death. And then through them, I've met people like John Hollister and Jason and Allison Black and their family, and Kenny, his friend, and just a wealth of people. But anyway, so that's kind of how this relationship with Ernie started. And then so over the years, I've tried as many times as I can to go to Atlanta to the Blade Show because it's a big reunion. Now, the cool thing is, this is where it gets kind of delves into the bourbon realm. Is Ernie a couple years ago decided he wanted to get into the bourbon business, and he started the Emerson Whiskey Company. Now, like everything Ernie does, he doesn't he don't half anything. He goes when he goes to do something, he goes full bore. And just give you an idea if you don't know about him and his family. Ernie, a lot of people say Ernie's the father of the tactical knife. He started making the CQC6 is synonymous with tactical knives, and then CQC7 was shortly on the heels of that. And then my all-time favorite is the Commander. I mean, I probably went overboard on my Commander collection, but I got probably one of the best Commander collections out there. I've got one-offs, Commanders that are pretty unique. And so, because I've been told many, many times that, man, when you get interested in something, man, you go down that rabbit hole deep, as you can tell from looking around this room. The bourbon and the guitars, and it's the knives and the bows and the guns, and just I go deep when I go deep down a rabbit hole. But a couple years ago, Ernie decided he was going to get into the bourbon industry, the bourbon the realm. Now, one thing Ernie does every year is he builds production knives, but his custom knives are highly, highly, highly sought after. I mean, I've seen them go for thousands and thousands of dollars on the secondary market. And your best chance to get one is you go to one of the shows where he's at, and he'll make a certain amount of custom knives, and then he has a lottery drawing. You put your name in the hat. If you get called, depending on how many knives he's made, I've seen as many as 30 on a table at a time. If you're number one, you get the pick of all 30. But you don't get it for free. Nothing in life is free. You pay for it. But I have literally seen people that have bought them, not even left the room where they bought them, and they could double the price. Somebody would give them double the money for that knife. And so I've been fortunate over the years. There's been years I put my name in the hat and I've gotten called. There's years I put my name in the hat, did not get called. And once again, you cannot win them all. And there's years I just said, I'm just not going to do it. I just, I didn't feel the need that year to get one. Now, this last year, Ernie's son Lucas was doing. He's making custom knives now, and I had originally I thought I had put my name in the hat for one of Lucas's knives because I thought that if you could go back in time and get on the front end when Ernie started making knives, and you could have got one of his what they called the garage knives or the pre-tack knives. Those go for the big money, and I'm thinking the same thing's going to happen with Lucas. He's just that good. But there was 2 bowls, I put it in Ernie's, and then I was like, okay, well, I got to do Lucas too. So I did Lucas. I didn't get pulled for Lucas, but I didn't think anything else about Ernie's. And so we go in there, and every year he generally will ask me to call the names. I guess it's got something to do with my military voice I have from being in the military. Now, I be quite honest, I butcher names, not out of spite. I just do it. I can't. Some names I just can't get them right, and that's kind of a running joke with everybody now. Because when we got about halfway through, I pulled my name, And I just looked at Ernie at the time, and I said, I can't call this name, Ernie. I just can't do it. And he kind of puzzledly looked at me, and then I handed him a slip, and he started laughing, and he just butchered my name. He's like, and I just started laughing. But anyway, so when I went up to the table, and I looked at the table, and I looked at the knives, if I remember right, there were probably about 12 knives left on the table. And there was some ones on there that I just, it's once again, it's like going to a allocated drop. You get in there and all these bottles are staring at you and you just don't know which one to grab sometimes. But this time I had no doubt in my mind what I was going to grab. And what I ended up grabbing was this knife right here. Let me hold it up there. So now what makes this knife so unique and why did I want it so bad? And I'll open it up and I'll kind of hold it up so everybody can see. This is called the bourbon barrel knife. And what makes this knife so unique and so special to me is the wood handles on this knife are made from a barrel. He took barrel wood and he made the handles. And the other thing that really meant the world to me on this knife is, and I don't think the camera's going to pick it up, but if you look kind of like I'm going to be real careful here. I'm going to cut myself because these things are sharp as razor blades. But if you look right under the thumb stud where you see his logo, it says prototype on there. He normally, whenever he makes the first custom of any knife, he'll prototype it. And for years and years, I had been after a prototype knife. I thought they were unique enough that I wanted one. And so when I pulled the knife off the table, I didn't even realize it said prototype. I just knew that it had the wood handles on it, made from a bourbon barrel, and that just spoke to me, with my business and me building the barrels. And then the other cool thing is, he had these shirts made for that particular show, and of course I got one of the shirts too, because that's how it usually works. It's you get the knife, you pay for it, and then he usually has some form of libation. He'll have bourbon or he'll have tequila, or a guy who's always there, Kenny, he'll always bring a jar of moonshine from Kentucky. And so you get a choice of what you want to take a sample of. But, this knife means the world to me. Now, the other cool thing is what he has also done is he started making, like I said, he started making his own whiskey. And this was the first year he made it. And he gave me this bottle as a gift, as a retirement gift. And what he did for me was he signed his name at the bottom. It's kind of, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but he signed the bottom. And then right there, he put 31 and a half. And the reason he put 31 and a half on the bottle was because that's how many years I had in the Army. I did 31 and a half years in the military. I might be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure this has got Green River distillate in it. And this is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Matter of fact, I got another bottle over there that I drank everything out of. And then I came home and I poured something else in the bottle, just to put it on my shelf. And I've been drinking what's in that bottle. But he gave me this bottle, and it means the world to me that Ernie gave me this bottle as a retirement gift. And so for me, it was like, okay, well, that's pretty cool. He sent me, he gave me a bottle. And usually the way you get these bottles is, like I've got the custom bourbon knife. He did some other custom that weren't as nice. They didn't have the bolsters on them and stuff, but you could get those with a bottle, or you could get a production bourbon knife, which I believe he hand ground, and you could get a bottle with that. But once again, he gave me this bottle. And, so once again, I'm always humbled when someone gives me something. Now, the cool thing about it was he had called me. He'd called me about 6 months before the show, and he had said, "Hey, I need to ask a big favor of you." And I said, "What?" And he goes, "So I'm writing a book, and the book was called Knowledge Destroys Fear." And so, if you have never read this book, I highly advise you to get your hands on it. And if you go to Emerson Knives, you can buy it from his website. Anybody that delves in the world of situational awareness, whether it be military or law enforcement, security services, anything of that nature, or even a woman that wants to be more vigilant when she's out, jogging at night. This is a book that you should read. And Ernie asked me to write a foreword for it. or to write a review of it. And so I read the book. He sent me a pre-copy of it, and I read it, and I was blown away at how good it was. Absolutely blown away at how good it was. And so he had asked me to do a review of it, and so I did the review, and my review's in the book. And so I get this in the mail one day. I got the book, and it's got a Ernie wrote a personal note to me inside it. And that meant the world to me. One, he thought enough of me to ask me to do that, but two, that he sent me a copy. Now, the cool thing was when he sent me a copy of that, he also sent me this bottle. And so this one's kind of cool too, because what this is, of course, this is like a 375 milliliter bottle. And it says 725 on it. And it's got a CQC7 knife on it. Now, what that means, 725, is it's the CQC7 25th anniversary. And so I believe these came in a set where you could get this bottle with CQC7. I've tried this too. The first year he had the larger bottle, and I destroyed that bottle because I'm a big fan of Green River. And if that is in fact true that it was Green River distillate, it's some of the best Green River distillate I ever drank. This one was more akin to if I remember right, this was more akin to a American single malt. And I'm not averse to single malts. They're just not my jam. I've had some really good ones. The Parker's Heritage 14-year that just came out blew my socks off. And then my friend Sean, he did a Westward whiskey. Him and his club he's in, Poor Decisions, they did 2 different ones of the Westward whiskey that were pretty good. But this just meant a lot to me that Ernie sent me this. So anyway, if you haven't figured this out, I thank the world of Ernie and his complete family, and I'm humbled to call him my friend. So if you ever get a chance and you're just curious, his website's emersonKnives.com. Just go there and look at what he does, because what he's doing right now, and I'm eagerly anticipating actually seeing it in person, but I tried to talk him into mailing me a barrel and let me build him a cabinet, but he upped me on that one. He tore the barrel apart, and he's building an electric guitar out of the barrel. And so I'm super excited. Hopefully he'll have it in Atlanta this year, because I want to see it. So I say it all the time. Gentleman on Sean's one of Sean's videos, he had posted that it's not the bottles you remember, it's the people. And that's very true. But the bottles are memories for me. And so, these 2 bottles, this bottle and the other one that I just showed, the memories that are attached to that are the friendship that I have with Ernie Emerson, and, the family ties I have with him and his family, and the extended Emerson family that I get to see every year when I go to Atlanta. So if you have a pour tonight, hopefully you're having it with someone you care about. And if you like what you see here, please, like, subscribe, and hit the bell for future notifications. And if you like what you see, I'll keep making these. And y'all have a great weekend.